Hi! Today we are going to talk about reported speech. This is basically when you are reporting speech that you heard. So, anytime you're answering, what did he say? You are reporting speech. Reported speech is basically saying what someone else said. Sometimes this is because you want the gossip or the chisme. Sometimes this is reporting like a reporter. Sometimes this is summarizing. My counselor told me to take these classes. You are saying what someone else said to you. We use this all the time without thinking about it, but there are some grammar rules that are associated with reported speech. So we're not always directly quoting exactly what someone said. Oftentimes, we want to incorporate it more naturally, more cohesively, or we want to summarize. And to do that, we use reported speech, and we're going to follow the grammar rules for reported speech. So there's three big ones, I think. Um, when you want to say what someone else said, you want to report speech, the first thing you need to do is shift the tense. Then you're going to shift the point of view, and any required pronouns will need to adjust. And then you might need to shift to if. So let's get through these steps. Let's start with tense shifts. The reason we shift the tense, which means we change it, is because logically, once someone has said something, they're done saying it. And for completed actions, we use a past tense. So once someone has said something, it's already been said and now it's in the past. So we adjust our reported speech, we were just adjust our summary to reflect that. When we are reporting speech, we often use verbs like someone said, he reported, he told me, or he told someone else, he stated. And notice that these are all in the past. Reported speech has already happened. The person has to say it and be done saying it in order for you to repeat it. Otherwise, you don't know what they said. They haven't said it yet. So when we are reporting reported speech, we use the past tense. And sometimes this means that you need to adjust your whole sentence. Our exception is in the simple present. But typically, we'll use what we call backshifting, shifting your tense back to the past, just one tense back, one tense to the past. Again, our exception here is the simple present. Because the simple present is for general truths or facts, it still might be true in the present. So if it's still true, keep it in the simple present. Like this. Direct speech, quote, I like pizza. If I were reporting this, I were telling someone else what that person said, I would say, they said they like pizza. Notice I have said, my reported speech verb is past, but I didn't backshift the verb from the quote because they still like pizza. It's still true. This is just a general truth, not anything rooted in a specific time. So I'm going to recap. Once something has been said, it's completed. So we shift it to the past. We do this by using simple past verbs like said, reported, told, or stated, asked, things like that. And depending on what information we are reporting, you may need to also backshift the quote. In the simple present, you might not need to do that if it's still true. But here's an example of backshifting. If the direct speech, if the quote, if the thing that the person said used the present progressive, shift it back to the past progressive. Just shift back one. I'll show you an example. Our quote is, "I'm talking to my mom right now." If I want to tell someone what that person said, he said he was talking to his mom. I have said, my reported speech verb, in the simple past, and I have I've back shifted am talking, our present progressive verb, to was talking, our past progressive verb. The same is true for modals. If you have a present modal, you may need to back shift it to a past modal. If someone says, "I can help with that," and I need to repeat that, I could say, "Oh, she told me she could help with that." So here I have my reported speech verb in the simple past, told, and I have back shifted my modal can to the past modal of ability could. Here's one more example using a different verb tense, the present perfect. To back shift the present perfect one tense back, we would go to the past perfect. And this might look like, direct quote, "We have been to that restaurant before." In reported speech, this might sound like, "Oh, they said they had been here before and it was pretty good." So we have said in the simple past, that's our reported speech verb. Then we have back shifted have been to had been, past perfect. You might notice something different, something else that's changing here as well. Look at these pronouns. I'm changing we to they. So let's talk a little bit about pronouns and point of view with reported speech. When we are repeating or reporting, the speaker is no longer saying it. So you may need to move to third person point of view. You may need to adjust some nouns and pronouns. I'm going to give a simple example. In direct speech, we might use I to refer to ourselves, first person. In reported speech, we would need to change that to a third person, he, she, or it pronoun. Here's an example. I have to go, I have an appointment. If I want to repeat or report that to someone else, she said she had to go because she had an appointment. Here we've changed I to she, and we've changed have to had. She said she had to go. She had an appointment. If this is still true, if this is recent, we could say she had to go, she has an appointment, if you want to get technical. And our third rule to follow is shifting to if you're reporting questions. So if someone asks you a question and you want to say what question you were asked, you may need to use if. Change some of the question phrasing to if. In English, we have very specific word order for questions, and to put that in a sentence, we have to do a little bit of adjusting. So let's say a direct quote, "Are you going to the meeting later?" Someone over here says, "What did they say?" And then you're going to report or repeat, "Oh, my boss asked me if I was going to the meeting later." So we've changed our question word to if. We've changed are going, our present progressive verb. We've back shifted that to was going. And we've adjusted our point of view. So my boss, I've now set up who's doing the asking, and I've shifted you to I. So adjusting pronouns for point of view, back shifting our tenses, and then replacing our question word with if so that this makes a nice smooth sentence rather than using the question phrasing. So I know that's a little bit confusing, but here's what you really need to remember. Once someone has already said something, It's completed, and it now is a past action. So your reporting verbs are going to be in the past. And because this is now completed, you may need to backshift. So shift your tense back one, and you'll need to adjust pronouns for the change in point of view because the speaker is no longer the one saying it. Here's what to remember. Your grammar rules for reported speech. You can think of this like a 3-step plan. Shift your tense, shift your point of view and pronouns, shift to if you're using questions.